Welcome to Hannity. And tonight, as we speak, fake news outlets all over the country, they are drooling over Kamala Harris. They are singing her praises. They are writing what are cringeworthy fluff pieces to, of course, please their far-left editors. But while they lie to your face, again, we will bring you the truth. We will, as usual, do the job the state-run propaganda, hate Trump media mob cult refuses to do. Buckle up, because tonight we are vetting Kamala Harris, and it continues in just moments. We will call out her phony praise of Joe Biden. Wow, amazing what a day can do, and it can change everything. We'll also show you her very and most radical socialist positions, from police to fracking, the consumption of red meat, and even the elimination of straws, and all private health care plans. They would be outlawed, and her support of gun bans by executive fiat. Also, Vice President Mike Pence will weigh in straight ahead. But we start in Wilmington, Delaware, where Biden somehow managed to travel a few miles away from his basement bunker to introduce his new running mate after, what, a 3-hour delay, an extremely long, meandering speech delivered with the help of his trusty teleprompter in an almost empty gymnasium. Joe Biden finally made it official. And during the joint event, they didn't take questions after trashing President Trump, predictably. Of course, both Biden and Harris heaped scripted praise all over each other. It was so fake, so blatantly phony that you couldn't help but kind of cringe when you know the truth. It was only a few months ago that Kamala Harris was heavily suggesting that Joe Biden was a racist and a sexist. Oh, amazing how things change in election years, isn't it?
You also worked with them to oppose busing. And, you know, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
His empathy, his compassion, his sense of duty to care for others is why I am so proud to be on this ticket.
It's a mischaracterization of my position across the board. I did not praise racist. Kamala knows how to govern. She knows how to make the hard calls. She's ready to do this job on day one.
Praising and coddling individuals who made it their life works and built their reputation off of segregation of the races in the United States. That's a problem.
His empathy, his compassion, his sense of duty to care for others is why I am so proud to be on this ticket.
Well, Kamala Harris back then was right, because Joe Biden praised the guy that actually filibustered the Civil Rights Act and opposed the Voting Rights Act, that both historic legislation, and worked with the former Klansmen on the issue of stopping the integration of schools and saying he didn't want his kids going to school in a, quote, racial jungle. So why would Joe Biden pick a running mate who all but pretty much called him racist over and over again? Why would he pick someone who said, I believe Biden's sexual misconduct accusers? Well, the answer is simple. Senator Harris is a favorite of the radical far-left establishment. New York Toilet Paper Times, though, they called her a pragmatic moderate. No way, shape, or form. That's just another outright lie by the New York Times. 2019, she had the most liberal voting record of any other U.S. senator. She was actually to the left of Bolshevik Bernie Sanders. She was the co-sponsor of that insane Green New Deal. And maybe they're just trying to cover up this crazy socialist agenda by giving Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez a whopping 60 seconds, we found out tonight, to speak at the Democratic convention. Unfortunately for Kamala Harris, that she is now on tape promising to ban all fracking. Pennsylvania, are you paying attention? On day one in office, take a look.
Will you commit to implementing a federal ban on fracking your first day in office, adding the United States to the list of countries who have banned this devastating practice?
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So, yeah.
All right, that one radical move that would cost 500,000 high-paying jobs in Pennsylvania, 100,000 plus jobs in Ohio, millions of other jobs across the country. It would send the price of oil and gas, the lifeblood of our economy, through the roof. And there's a lot more. As part of her radical socialist agenda, Harris would even ban plastic straws and limit your consumption of red meat. I just love when the government is there to tell me how to live. And if you like your doctor, if you like your health insurance plan, well, you're going to want to listen very closely to this next insane radical socialist clip. Take a look.
I believe the solution, and I'm actually feel very strongly about this, is that we need to have Medicare for all. That's just the bottom line.
I believe it will totally eliminate private insurance. So for people out there who like their insurance, they don't get to keep it?
Well, listen, the idea is that everyone gets access to medical care. Who of us has not had that situation where you got to wait for approval and the doctor says, well, I don't know if your insurance company is going to cover this? Let's eliminate all of that. Let's move on.
Eliminate it. Move on. Wow. Then you're stuck with Obamacare. How did those promises work out? Now, if Harris gets her way, over 200 million Americans would have their health insurance stripped away. No choice, no option. I thought liberals were pro-choice. Apparently not on this issue. And, of course, your taxes, they will go through the roof. She's already plotting major tax hikes. So let's keep track of this minor part of her radical agenda. Senator Harris would confiscate your private health insurance, your income. Yep, even says by executive fiat, I'm going to take away some of your guns, your plastic straws, your red meat, and that list goes on. She wants government to completely dictate every aspect of your life. That's because, like many of the radical socialists left, well, Senator Harris believes that the American people, actually says it about one particular voting bloc and demographic, are just stupid. Well, you don't believe me? Let's go to the videotape.
What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid. That is why we put them in dormitories, and they have a resident assistant. They make really bad decisions.
Why don't we just lock them all up till they're 25? Now, if you watch the other so-called news networks or read almost any paper in the country, you will never get the truth about Senator Harris. You will never see these clips. You will never hear about her radical positions and her radical record. They will lie to you day in and day out for the next 83 days, and they will continue to push the line that she is a pragmatic moderate. At this point, the mob, the media, has absolutely zero self-respect, and they don't concern themselves with anything that recognizes truth. They are now hardcore, status, partisan Democrats that will say and do anything to beat Donald Trump. It's a cult of hatred, a psychosis. Kind of hard to explain, actually. Just take a look at their vetting of Kamala Harris. Take a look.
Just being told we have a pick, and it's Kamala Harris of California. Just told in my ear at this second. For the record, those applause were from Claire McCaskill.
I think that Kamala Harris adds a layer of energy to the Biden campaign.
People wanted to be around her. There was a charisma, a fascination, for lack of a better word, Anderson, a bit of celebrity surrounding Kamala Harris.
Joe Biden could have chosen someone else, but he couldn't have chosen anyone better. She is clearly a great campaigner, but she's also good at governing.
Democrats have thought since she stepped onto the stage that she had an incredibly bright future.
I think if you think about Kamala Harris, she herself, a fighter, right?
She's an energetic campaigner, women's vote, younger people's vote. All of this brings enormous energy.
Pretty much anybody would have more energy than, well, the ever-forgetful Joe. Seems like he needs a nap very often. And she only got 2% or less. The coverage was so bad, so abusively biased. One of these fake journalists and lunatic at Fake News CNN complained that we were throwing everything but the kitchen sink at Kamala Harris. That's actually called vetting the candidate. Fake News CNN might want to try it out sometime on a Democratic candidate. Just the candidate's record, just the exact things which they have said and the positions they've taken, with the accompanying proof, the video and audio tapes. Especially now, all of the obvious concerns about Biden's, frankly, mental alertness, acuity for fitness for office, his strength and stamina. Now, get this. The media raised those questions about 71-year-old John McCain and his age in 2008. They raised questions about 73-year-old Ronald Reagan during his re-election bid in 1984. By the way, for the record, Biden would be older on his first day of office than Reagan was on his last day of office. Take a look.
I am not going to exploit for political purposes my opponent's youth and inexperience.
Checkmate. Ronald Reagan won 49 states. Now, all of a sudden, the mob and the media, they don't dare ask a question about 77-year-old Biden's mental acuity. I'm not a doctor, but he looks kind of fragile, tired, weak to me. And these, constant embarrassments, they're beginning to raise a lot of serious questions. And people in the country are talking about it, whether the mob wants to cover it up or not. The confusion, the bouts of anger. Are you a junkie? You get tested for cocaine? Come on, man. Almost no one outside of this network seems even willing to seriously broach the subject. We will do our job. In fact, they're actively trying to cover up his apparent issues. Over there at state-run conspiracy television, MSDNC, well, they seemingly actually cropped out what appeared to be a written script of Biden, and having a casual video conversation with Kamala Harris. And by the way, you can actually see Biden in that picture. He's holding the phone upside down. And ultimately, the Biden campaign is hoping that Kamala Harris will bring a much-needed boost of energy, charisma, alertness that Biden clearly lacks. Those are fundamentals, I think, for the hardest job in the world. And there's one problem with that theory. Kamala, well, she doesn't connect with voters. Her presidential bid was a massive failure, a flop. She dropped out in December before any primary or any caucus. She was polling at a meager 2% or less, especially after Tulsi Gabbard's takedown. Even in her home state of California, she was polling in single digits. They know her best. But fear not, the media mob, the cult that they are that hates Trump 24/7, well, they'll do and say anything and everything they can to help lift her up. Just take a look at today's front page New York Toilet Paper Times. It's worthless. It's basically as good as toilet paper. Compare it to their coverage in 2016 of Vice President Pence, Donald Trump's choice for a running mate. As we've said many times on this show back from 2007 forward, journalism is dead, it is gone, it is buried.